Today on In the Wood Yard, we're going to talk about stacking wood. Do you need to? Should you? And why? Here we go. So a lot of people think you have to stack your wood. Now, I can think of 3 reasons why you should stack wood. 3, that's it. But they're good ones. So I did a video a while ago and it was titled Stop Stacking or Don't Stack Firewood, something like that. And it did really good. A lot of people watched it. It's got hundreds of thousands of views. And I thought I would do a follow-up because I still get a lot of questions because people ask me on the channel, they ask me in the comments, I get people I see at shows, people I talk to like, Chris, does that wood really dry good in those bins? Because I can't imagine how it could dry so well because that's a lot of wood all piled in one spot. Well, you know what? It's the best drying system I've ever seen, ever come up with. It works fantastic. And there's a lot of people that have tried it and they like it. Now, for me, it's ideal because we have no trees for hundreds of yards around here. So we get full sun, full wind. It's always windy here, all the time. The wood dries fantastic. And the bins are nice, loose wood because it's just piled loosely. So there's a lot of holes for the wind to go through. It's on pallets. It's vertically for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet, and then it goes to a cone. Now, the big firewood producers always have their wood on the ground, right from the machines, big, huge cones for 6 months. They leave it, they scoop it up, and they sell it. That's what they do. They don't ever touch their wood. They don't stack it. Now, like I said, there's 3 reasons why you might stack your wood. This is might. You know, there's a lot of people that stack wood, and that's fine if you want to do it. Now, number 1 reason, it's a good reason, you know how much wood you have. Now, if you stack your wood, you're going to be able to put it into either full cord rows or just rows in general, and you can measure it out and figure how many cords you have if that's what you want to do. Now, in the Midwest here, we use the term face cord. A lot of you have never heard of it, but we use it all the time. Actually, we're not the only area. There's other areas of North America that use the term face cord too. Now, face cord to us is a cord. I know a lot of you think that's blasphemy, and I probably should have my tongue cut off for that, like the guys do on the East Coast. If they say face cord, I think they get their tongue cut off. That's what I've been told. So right over here on this side is a face cord. You know how much that is? It's 1/3 of a cord. Same thing. 18 or 16-inch pieces, 8 feet long, 4 feet high. It's 1/3 of a cord, face cord. You know why we call it a face cord? Because right over here is a full cord. The face of it is a face cord. That's 1 row. There's 3 rows there to that full cord. So 16-inch pieces, 4 feet high, 8 feet long, 3 rows, 128 cubic feet, a full cord. And if you look at the face of it, it's a face cord. That's how we came up with that, and it works, you know. But there are people that can make a cord with 24-inch pieces and do just 2 rows, still have 4 feet wide. And then the face of it is really a half a cord. So we wouldn't call that a face cord. We would call that a half of a full cord because they're 24-inch logs, pieces, rounds, however you want to say it. It doesn't matter. What we use in our area, we all like. It all works great. Everybody's happy. No one complains. But in other parts of the country, it's different. And that's okay because you don't live here, we do. And we don't live there. So let's all be happy about that. It's just frustrating because everybody thinks their area is the way the whole world is. And actually, we're in the minority in the United States by using the word cord because the rest of the world, they go by cubic meters. Yes, cubic meters. And I believe 1 cubic meter is like 0.82 of a full cord. Or is that of a face cord? Yeah, I think a face cord. So if you take 80% of a face cord, that's a cubic meter. And that's what they sell. So they're selling less than a face cord or 1/3 of a cord, however you want to say it, a rick, a row, truckload, whatever. As long as the 2 parties that are exchanging money and exchanging wood are happy, everybody should be happy and the government should stay out of their way. That's just my opinion, but what do I know? I'm just a guy. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the other reasons why you might stack your wood. Number 1, like I said, you know how much you have. And if that's important to you, so you know how much you've got each year, stack away. That is awesome. I used to stack wood. Now, I've been producing wood and selling it for, I don't know, 12 years now, something like that. Well, I've been producing it my whole life. Ever since I could walk, my dad made me make wood. I was the wood splitter. And my brother Ken and my brother Eric, we used a maul and we split a lot of wood. Because we heated the house with wood, we were the splitters. So, in my lifetime, thousands of cords of wood. Now that I produce it and sell it, I do a couple hundred full cords a year, 600 face cords if you like to say that. And my amount of wood that I want, that I have in my wood yard, there's only one number I'm always looking for when it comes to wood. And that number is more wood. The more wood I have, the more wood I can sell. And it's not going to go bad. So if I don't sell it all one year, it'll sell the next year. So I produce as much as I have time to sell. I could always have a sale and blow it out if I want. Although I don't want to do that. I'd like to make as much as possible on every single piece. But the number I have right now, I might have a couple hundred full cords. I don't know. There's a lot of wood here. I don't know, don't care. All I know is I want to produce wood every time I get a chance. I love doing it. I do it as much as I can, and it's a lot of fun. The number one reason I do it is for exercise. So now that is the number 2 reason why you might want to stack your wood, because it's exercise. You like to pick it up and put it down, and pick it up and put it down, and pick it up and put it down, and then pick it up and bring it into the house, and then pick it up and put it into your rack in your house, and then after it burns, you pick up the ashes, you take that out and get rid of that. So you're touching your wood. On average, most people will touch their wood 8 times. I want to touch it this many times if possible. My ideal number of touching the wood would be to be on the tractor, load it with the grapple onto the processor, have it go out the processor, into a trailer, drive to the person's house, dump it, and drive away. Never having touched it with my hands. That would be ideal. That would be the number of times I'd like to touch it. Because the more you touch it, the more money you lose. But that's because I'm selling it. Now, if you're a guy that has wood that you're just making it for yourself, and like I said, you want to know how much you have, you enjoy doing it, you want the exercise, because it is great exercise, and that's the number one reason why I started doing wood. It wasn't the money, it was exercise. I like doing it. So splitting it, picking it up, stacking it, great exercise. So number 1 reason, you know how much wood you have. Number 2 reason, great exercise. Number 3 reason is because the boss of the house doesn't want an ugly looking mess in her front yard or her backyard or her side yard or in her garage or in her shed. She wants it to look all nice and pretty. Or you've got neighbors that complain. So looks. It looks nice stacked. It just does. It looks really nice to have stacked wood. There's absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to show you some stacked wood that looks really cool. If you've got a wood shed, fantastic. If you've got places you want to put it, say you stack it in totes. We don't stack it in totes, we just put it in because that's touching it again. Don't want to touch it. I want it just to go, I want it to go in and go out. That's how I want it to be. But again, I'm strange that way. So the 3 reasons. Number 1, say it with me, you know how much you have. Number 2, exercise. Number 3, keep the boss happy. Those are the reasons. Let's show you some wood. Here we go. So this right here is the much maligned, the much hated, the controversial amount of wood. It is a face cord, or a third of a cord. It is 4 feet high, 8 feet long, 16-inch pieces, third of a cord, a face cord, whatever you like to call it. Here's a full cord right next to it. Look at that. It's 3 of the same thing. Isn't that amazing? There's 3 rows. Wow, that's really cool. It's like a rectangle, and it's 128 cubic feet. It's 4 feet across, 8 feet long, 4 feet high. Pretty simple. Now, I got one other thing I want to mention about this before I walk away, because I think this is why Hitler invaded Poland. Some people say you have to stack your wood with the split side up, like this right here, because the sun hits it and it dries better. Some people say, the other people, you have to stack it with the bark up. I know wars have been started. I think that's how the Hatfield-McCoy thing started. I think that's how the Civil War thing started. It wasn't slavery. It was over whether you should stack your wood bark up or bark down. I think that's how it really started, and then they just made an excuse that it was slavery, so I don't know. I'm just joking. Calm down. But I know a lot of people get their underwear or not over wood, whether you stack it either way. You know, I really don't think it matters. Now, there's a couple things I've thought about that do make sense, and there's arguments on both sides. This is what I came up with. Now, if you stack it wood side up, where you're not having the bark showing, it does turn gray. Some people don't like that, but to me, I like that because that means it's getting older, it's getting weathered. Because if you look underneath, oh, look at that. It's not weathered. Huh, interesting. Oh, that sounds good, huh? So, it's exposed to the sun. It can dry. Now, another person would say, but if you have the bark up, it sheds the water, so the water runs off. And you're not going to be soaking water up into the wood. But I think that's a lame excuse myself, because once the wood dries, the cells close up, it really doesn't absorb moisture. It actually closes up and it won't accept more moisture. And the only way you can get wood to get more water into it once it dries is to totally submerge it underneath water for a very long period of time. There's a reason why boats float for the most part, if they're made out of wood. Part of it is displacement. A big part of it is wood floats. Even green wood floats. A lot of it does anyway. That's how they used to do wood years ago. They floated it down a river right from fresh cut trees because it floats. The other reason why I think taking the bark off or having split pieces where there's no bark showing like this one, there was bark right there but it came off. A lot of people think your wood dries from the end, and it does when you've got a round with no bark, with bark on it. It does dry from the ends because the bark is like your skin, it's holding the moisture in, so it does dry from the ends. But as soon as you split it open, you expose that grain, it dries all the way around. You know how I know that? Because I have taken wood that has had no bark on it, dead standing trees, I got a lot of it over there, and you split it in half, and about 2 to 3 inches around the outside is totally dry. The very center is wet. Now, if it was drying only from the ends, wouldn't just the ends be drying in from either side? But that's not how it works. It dries all the way around. All the exposed wood without the bark on it dries. I might be crazy, but that's just what I've noticed. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I know a lot of you are going to tell me I'm wrong. Let's go look at some more wood. Now, a lot of people like to use these IBC totes to store their wood in. Some people just pour it in like this is. This was wood that we got for free from somebody that cut a tree down and we split it here. This is soft maple in here primarily. There's a little bit of ash in there. And we just put them in these totes because we had them available. And we thought, oh, what the heck, let's put it in there. But I've taken some wood out of here. This is birch, this is birch, this is birch here. And again, we've taken some wood out of here to sell it. Oh, look at that, there's a full cord. And over there, a face cord. Here's some more totes. And again, we've taken some wood out of here. A lot of people like this because they can process the wood right into the totes or throw it in there. Then they can pick it up with their forks, and then they can deliver it like that. They can deliver it to themselves that way. So they can pick it up and they can put it on their porch, put it by their wood boiler, put it by their wood stove, put it by the back door, and they don't have to carry it, which is a good idea. I like that. But you have to reach in there to get it. Some people will cut away the metal, and you got to reach in there and grab it. Some people will put wood in there and they'll stack it in there and then have it perfectly in cones and put a top on it. But you know what? That's extra work. To me, this is me because I'm a lazy man. I like the idea, if you're going to use totes, fill them up loose and just have more totes. And if you have an articulating fork where you can grab them and you can tip it and dump it out, that would be great. However, we have found out these totes do not last very long if you do that. Some people will use forks, and what they do is they tip it into their bed or their truck or their trailer, and then they tip it again, and then they tip it again, and they lift it and they shake it. But we have found if you do that, these things start to do this. They start to deform and get mashed and smashed, and they are not very strong. The professional guys, I was talking with Mr. Arndt at Arndt Forest Service Products. They do about 500,000 bundles of bundlewood a year. They do, I think, what was it? 500 full, no, 5,000 full cords a year. That's what he does. And they don't use these totes because they don't last. They have a much heavier duty cage. No. So that's just my opinion on them. But they're nice. For a person that's producing wood for themselves, this is a good way to do it because you don't have to touch it a whole lot. You can process it right in there and then use your tractor, however you can move it and go set it wherever you want to set it. Now over here is what I prefer. We just put the wood into a big bin. In this bin right here, there are 60 face cords. So about 20, wouldn't that be right? 20? Let me think here for a second. 60? Yeah, about 20 full cords is what's in this pile here. So about 60 face cords. And I know that because first time we filled it, I kind of measured the loads as we put them in. And that's what fits in here, about 60 face cords. This was all free wood, by the way. Didn't pay a dime for that other than my time. Oh, look at over here. Stacked. Isn't that pretty? We did some stacking to try it out. It's a pain in the butt. It takes forever. It's a waste of time, in my opinion. But what do I know? I only do a little bit of wood a year, so I don't know much. Oh, look at here. Here are some locusts just dumped in the bin. Nice. And then over here, from here down, that's all oak. This bin over here is got, I gotta look and see what this is. This right here is mixed hardwood right here, just mixed stuff. There was a little bit of oak right through here. Last year at the beginning of winter, this was solid oak through here, but that's all new wood we put in. This is all new wood that we put in, and this is all that's left of the oak. And then we got another bin of oak over here. Now, by having these bins off the ground, on the pallets, all the wood's on pallets. The wood can breathe. Look at how much space is in there. Lots of space. It's not packed tight like that thing over there. That is packed tight. So there's an argument. People say you've got to stack it for it to dry. No, if you stack it, it actually dries slower, and I have found that out. That is a fact. Loose wood dries faster as long as it's off the ground. The higher you go, the better. The more sun, the wind, the air, all that good stuff. And you don't need to cover it. Rain doesn't hurt it. But in the fall of the year, I will be covering a lot of these this year to keep the snow off, because if you get a lot of snow, which we didn't have last year, that snow will melt, go down inside the wood, and you get big wood sickles, which is hard to get apart. So I want to keep it dry. Now this was heaped full with oak, and this is all that's left of the oak that we had from last year. Over here is a bunch of hard maple. This right here on this end is all hickory. All the way down to the end is all hickory. And this stuff is all drying excellent. Now, I've done moisture test on my wood, and it dries fantastic in the bins. It dries really good. There's another bin there. This bin over here, this has got, I gotta think for a second. If I remember right, there's 5. There was 5 semi-loads of hard maple in here at one time. And we've taken a lot out of here already. I mean, it was heaped all the way from here, all the way up over there, and all the way around. So there was 5 semi-loads of hard maple in here at one time, and that's what's left. And we produced a lot of hard maple last year. So, and it's dry as a bone. I mean, it's excellent stuff, because I've been digging into there, and I dug right down inside of there, and it's dry. This is stuff to be split yet. We just got this cut, and we're gonna walk over here to this bin. That's all a bunch of more wood we've got to process yet. There's some tree service free wood we got that's got to get done. This bin over here is all oak, and it is mostly dry already, and it just got in there because it was dead standing stuff. And it's in big bins. Ooh, big jet's taking off. In this one here, I'm not sure. There's probably, man, I don't know. It's not as big as the really big bin. So I gotta think here for a second. 20 full cords? Does that sound right? No, 15, about 15. Probably about 15 full cords, something like that. This is cherry. That's all wood that I bought. It was all dry already. That's from my new best friend Adam. That's where that came from. We're gonna walk over and I'll show you some of Bert's wood. So in these totes right here are all the cutoffs that is all gonna be Bert's wood. So this is as we're producing wood with the processor for cutting wood, chainsaws, whatever, all these chunks and stuff Bert gets. So that's all stuff we've been producing. I don't know how many totes there. There's lots of them. And this is wood that he cut a long time ago, and he built these crates out of pallets. There's one on the bottom, one on each side, and then he's got a board across the top in 3 spots here, as you can see. And then he fills them up, and he can pick these up with his skid steer, take it right up to his boiler. So he did this before he had totes, but then he discovered the beauty of totes, and that's what he's been doing now for quite a while. So there's that. There's a bunch of his wood. Let's go look at some more. So this is part of Bert's tote world, and I'll show you his emporium that he has over here. This is Bert's tote emporium. Usually there's a whole bunch more here where the tractor is, but he gets, I don't know, 30 some at a time, like every other week, and he sells them, and he sells lots of totes. So they go fast. This is a load he just got in, so if people want to know, you can go, I believe you got to go to his Facebook site. It's Bert's Custom Cuts, and he's got this stuff here. And there's a lot of totes there. He's got lots more coming. Now this fall, this was full. And Bert has been taking wood out of here. He has it all stacked in here. This is an old corn crib, and it's a really nice wood storage. And he stacked it in here to save space, and because it's obviously can breathe because it's all open. But this is a beautiful, beautiful wood storage place. So if you've got a place, something like this, that is fantastic for storing wood. It's just beautiful. It was full right to the end here this last fall. So here's another wood shed that Bert has, and it's not fully stocked yet, but it will be. You can see he's got all of his boiler wood here. So this, in the fall of the year, he will fill this right up to the front, and then this side over here is also filled. He's got a bunch of totes over here, so that gets filled up with wood. So his wood shed is, I'm just gonna guess here, 15 feet deep by 25 feet wide. Don't know. But there it is, that gets filled up. And he has it right here, because right there's where his boiler house is. It is right here, so it's right next to where he needs it. So, and he'll put totes a lot of times right out here so he can just fill it up. But there is his wood shed. Got more to show you. We are in the belly of the beast. This is the downstairs of the barn I'm in, and all of this wood, all the way through here in totes, and Bert stacked some are just in loose, but this is all Bert's boiler wood in here. He's got a lot of wood. This is one side, and there's a whole row going down the middle here, and then we're going to walk around to the other side, and you're going to see more wood because he's got wood. He is into wood. So there's, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows right here. And let's see here. Is it 4 rows? Yeah, there's 4 rows here. Oh, look at that. There's more totes over there. Oh, and there's more over here. There's a lot of wood in here. It's the end of the day, so I'd turn the lights on so you could see. But he's got totes upon totes of wood. He's got wood everywhere. Well, look at this here. Kitties. Hey, big guy. Oh my gosh, look at that. A pile of wood. It's not stacked. It's gonna not dry there. No, it's gonna dry just fine right there. But it's gonna be sold real fast anyway. Oh my gosh, look at this. Stacked wood. It's drying. Look at all the space in there. These logs have been here for, I don't know, 5, 6 months. Drier every day. Oh, look at, there's more over here. It's getting dry too because look at that. It's wood. It dries. This here is the only wood I'm not proud of. This is all stuff that's been cut up. It's a bunch of tree service wood, a lot of odds and ends. This needs to get split and put into a bin because it is on the ground, and that is not good. When wood sits on the ground, it wicks moisture up from the ground, and it gets moldy, it gets dirty, it gets stinky, it grows mushrooms, it does all that kind of stuff. So in a pile, on the ground is bad. On pallets or stone or cement, good. We're back where we started, right by the full cord and face cord, or third of a cord, or rick-a-rink, or whatever you like to call it. Listen to this. That is some dry wood. I like it. I like it a lot. So, if you want to stack your wood, go for it. If you like the exercise, if you got the time, you want it to look good, you want to know how much you have, stack away. I don't have time. I figured it out. How much time it takes me to stack a full cord. In 1 year, I'm saving at least 300, maybe 400 hours of work by not stacking wood because I produce hundreds of cords of wood. So not stacking it for me is a good thing. I throw it into the bins with the tractor, with the bucket, I dump it in, and then we can either throw it in, so that's a touch, into the trailer, or we can use a grapple and grab it, throw it into the trailer and go deliver it and dump it. So I'm trying not to touch the wood because the more touches, the more money you lose. It's that simple. But I'm selling wood, so it matters. But for those of you that are producing wood for yourself and you want to know how much you have, you like the exercise and you want it to look good, stack, stack, stack. For those of you that want to save time, effort, want it to dry faster, because it does dry faster loose, put it in bins. Have it loose. Put it on a hard surface that's not going to wick moisture up from the ground. I use pallets. It works great. So there you go. It's all I know. Let me have it, because I know there's going to be a guy saying, if you don't stack your wood, you'll go straight to heck. Or something like that. I don't know. It's just me. All I know is I used to stack wood. For years I stacked wood, and it works great. Now, my brother Kenny, he stacks his wood, but I know why he stacks his wood. He has a good reason, and he sells it. Because most of his customers come pick up their wood. He has a lot of customers that buy face cords, that buy 20 face cords at a time, 30 face cords at a time, 40 face cords at a time. And he knows who they are, so he makes their wood in one big block. He stacks it, and he says, hey Joe, these rows, that's your wood. You wanted 12 face cords, or 4 full cords, if you like to say it that way. This is your wood. Come get it. It's there. It's ready. And people can come in the spring, in the summer, they pick it up, and then they take it and put it in their storage shed facility, throw it in a pile, whatever it is they do with it. Put oil on it, roll around in it naked. I don't know. Whatever it is they do with the wood, that's what they do. But by taking the wood like he does and stacking it, he knows how much he has so he can mark it. A lot of times he'll make an X on it with a spray can or something, or he'll just put a sign on it and says, hey Joe, that's your wood right there. From this stake to that stake, Joe's wood. He'll put a ribbon on it. Joe, you got the pink tape. That's your row, take it. And they come and get it as they have time. So for Kenny it works great because he's having predetermined amounts that guys want. So he's stacking it so he knows what they've got. They're happy, he's happy. He only has to stack it once and they come and get it and it's done. So it works for him. For the rest of you that like to stack wood, you want the exercise, you like it looking nice and pretty, stack away. There's nothing wrong with it. For me, no thanks. I like loose wood because it dries fantastic and I don't have to touch it very much. That's it for today, folks. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. with another video for you. Right now, go watch all the other videos on the channel. It's the best thing you can do with your time. It's been proven. Scientific studies have been done. Watching in the wood yard is the best thing you can do. It'll make you happy. Good night, everyone.